Hi guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be in the world. We are currently in the info. 1 second, we're just going to bring in a few more people. We're currently in the info session for the second cohort of the Brightcode program. Currently, we are in the midst of their first cohort that is just about to depart their respective countries and come to Israel in about 3 weeks' time for their second part of their studies program, and then they're going to be here with us for the next 2 years studying. I'd like to introduce a couple of people just that are with us who will have a few words to say, and then we'll simply dive in. So we have Renata Vigritzin, who is the director of Birthright Israel Labs. Shaya Stoll, who is the product director and also the marketing manager of this program, Brightcode. Shaya, do you want to say a few words about where we stand currently?
Yeah, so I just want to welcome everyone, and it's great to see some new faces, and we really hope that this info session will provide you with answers to some of the questions. Whatever we will not be able to cover on this period, Daniel will give you an email address where you can send any information. I would also like to say that, as Daniel mentioned, we are in the midst of recruiting for the second cohort. If you have any Jewish friends, even if they have not been on Birthright, people who might be interested in this type of training and career opportunity in Israel, please send them the information, send them the link to the website so they can also sign up. We are, excuse me, we are closing registration in about 2 weeks. So it's really, really crunch time. And now is the time for people to apply if they want to take part in the second cohort of Brightcode. That's it. Thank you and good luck.
All right. Thank you very much, Shai. All right. So as you all know, we are currently getting ready for the second cohort. We've been in a recruiting session for the past, I want to say, nearly a month. And we've gotten a lot of questions over time. I recognize some of the names from our correspondence on the Brightcode email. So now we're going to dive into a short presentation of the program itself. I will just say that we're going to have a rundown of the presentation, and at the end, if there are select questions, we're going to leave some room for 2 to 3 questions, and then the rest of the time, you are more than welcome to send an email to brightcode@taglit-birthright.com for further information. Also, if you write your questions to the entire public, to the entire group here on Zoom, it will be documented and we'll be able to follow those after we finish the session. Of course, we'll be sending out the recording to everybody, and you'll be able also to distribute that as you wish. All right. So we're going to begin. Okay, Shai, just tell me, you see the presentation itself? Wonderful. All right, so Brightcode is a joint venture. It's a partnership between Taglit-Birthright Israel and Experis Academy. We got the mandate from the Innovation Authority of Israel to go through with this program. The program is meant to train young people as yourselves for becoming full stack developers, engineers, and we currently are during our first cohort. We're recruiting currently for the second cohort, and we have 2 more cohorts ahead of us. Experis Academy is a subsidiary of Manpower Group. It's a very large company with 50 branches around the world, and it works with all kinds of companies around the world in technological services and the such. The focus here in Israel is on training and on placing new blood in different offices and different companies, namely in high tech. So what is Brightcode? As I said before, we're talking about a training program that's meant to take students and allow them to become full stack developers. It's a professional job placement meant to provide work here in Israel for those students taking part in the program. I must emphasize, and this is also based on many questions that came up before, this is a one-product program, meaning you can't just come in for the study segment and go back to your respective home. It's the idea of coming in to study in the boot camp, and then coming to Israel, working while living here in Israel in a high-tech company. That is a very important point to put out there. How is this program going to take place? The study program is a 5-month-long program, very intensive course. It's a time that you have to fully dedicate for the program itself, for the studies. It's a 5-day, the program runs for 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, more or less, and it provides theoretical and practical studies, and it's accompanied by pedagogical supervision and professional guidance. 4 months out of the program, you'll be spending in your respective homes, wherever you live at the moment, doing the program on Zoom. Following that time, you'll come to Israel for 1 month of studies in a classroom setting. And the idea of that 1 month is to come out here and while studying, get used to living in a foreign country, get used to living here in Israel, get used to living in Tel Aviv and the surrounding areas as you study, and also get to know future places that you'll be living. Really depends on where you'll be working in terms of geography. Okay, at the end of the 5-month program, you'll be obtaining full-time, hands-on, paying job, a junior level position in a high-tech company. And as we said before, we're talking about a 2-year commitment, 24 months of living in Israel and working in Israel. Full stack development and engineering overall and development, program development overall is a very well sought after profession in the high-tech field. It's an invaluable experience that it provides you, and the placement within a company is highly regarded, and nowhere else, no better place to do this but in Israel, the startup nation. And here we're giving you the opportunity of learning, of gaining those skills, of learning the different coding languages in order to be one of those developers, one of those engineers, one of those software developers, and take part in a company here in Israel. Other than that, you get to experience life in Israel. The first month that you'll be staying here within the program will be in Tel Aviv, in the proximity of the Experis Academy's offices. That's where the classroom is going to be, and that's where you'll be pursuing your studies when in Israel. After that, around the country, we have several hubs and several high-tech parks all over the country, from Beersheba in the south to Jerusalem to Tel Aviv, Haifa, Yokneam, and a few other places around the country. So while you may begin in Tel Aviv with your studies, there is a good chance you also be spread out across the country. It really depends on where you find that line of work, and also where you want to live. So as I said, the full stack development, the whole realm of software development is a very, very well sought after profession, and it's very well needed as well. Over 6,000 positions have been open over the last year in Israel alone, and there's been a 39% increase in positions open in this field. Now, I must stress, I did say in a few slides back, but I am going to stress that we're talking about a junior level position, and those are that's a level of seniority that's looking to fill up spots and as quickly as possible. Let's talk about your journey. And when we talk about your journey, we're talking about the whole process from the moment that you're an applicant to the moment that you become a full stack developer. And I'll stress each component. I saw that Arina joined us. So Arina, if you can also jump in the specific items relevant to Experis, I'd be highly appreciative about that. So Applicants. Currently, you're all applicants from the names that I saw on your screens. Some of you have already begun the process. Some of you have already gone through a test or two. But right now, we're talking about applicants registering online on our website on Brightcode on the Brightcode website. So as we said, once you apply, there's a process within our joint systems that we have to go through in order to be able to also send you the following test, which is the aptitude test. The aptitude test is basically a personality test, and it allows you to show us the way you think, your logical train of thought, and it's a time-based test. It has about 5 or 6 segments, each with a different number of questions, with a different period of time, between about 15 to 20 minutes. And once you begin one of those tests, you cannot stop. You have to finish the test, and then you have to, and then until it's fully completed. Okay, and if you happen to exceed the time limit, the test will stop in the middle. So that's something that you have to pay attention when you spare time for your aptitude test. After the aptitude test, provided of course you pass it, you get a professional test. With a professional test, we're talking about a coding test. You'll be getting some material to study. And based on that material, you'll be expected to perform and conduct a professional test of coding. Once you have finalized that and passed that, you'll be invited to a professional interview by the lecturer that wrote that test. Within that professional interview, you'll basically, for those of you who's ever done a doctorate or who's ever defended a dissertation of a paper in your master's, this is what you're doing. Actually, you're showing that you did the work on that test and that you know what you're doing. Should you pass the professional test, you're going to move on to your HR test, your HR interview. My apologies. Within the HR interview, you're going to go through the different aspects of the program, the syllabus, the different social aspects of the work environment, what you should be expected in terms of salary, in terms of work conditions, and so on. And if you pass that and you wish to continue on, we move on to the signing of a contract. The signing of a contract is basically your commitment to take on this endeavor and take on the 5 months of studies and the 24 months of living in Israel and working in Israel. Okay. I'd like to touch upon the idea of working and living in Israel. Those 2 years while you're here in Israel, you're going to be completely on your own after you've gone through an entire study program and you've learned the ins and outs of the coding languages, and you're starting to work. You'll be getting a salary of 12,000 new Israeli shekels, which is more or less the equivalent to 4,000 US dollars. And with that, you're going to need to continue to live as you would live back home or anywhere else. So this is something that you have to take in mind as well. This should be covering your rent and covering your food expenses and your any day-to-day expenses that you might have during this time of the 24 months that you'll be living here. For the month that we're talking about, over here, you're going to see the last row. It says May 2023, cohort 2 arrives in Israel. That time is coming in for a month for the studies program taking place in Israel. We are joined with another organization called Onward Israel, which I'm assuming one of you or some of you may have taken a program with them or not. And then during that time, you're going to be provided with housing. You're going to be provided with a stipend. You're going to be provided with a social and educational platform, and you're going to be provided with logistical assistance, helping you out with opening a bank account and taking care of the logistics, or advising you in the path that you have to take in order to be sure that your operational aspects of living here in Israel after that month is over are all set. And then we all hope that if all goes well, that you'll be starting your new job sometime around June of 2023. Just to bring you into the loop, during June of 2023, we are all expecting to begin our third cohort of studies. So it'll be a very interesting overlap between the two programs. Once you begin work, you're actually going to become a full stack developer, and you'll be fully immersed in your high-tech career here in Israel. Arina or Irit, do you have anything to add on this? No. Let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about the syllabus. It's also available on online, and you also will get the information via email. But we're talking about the different coding languages and other programs that are relevant to that. Experience Academy will elaborate a bit more about that once I'm finished with the presentation. But I will remind you all that we're talking about 5 days a week of studies, 8 hours a day, frontal on Zoom, but you are expected to be awake. You're expected to sit in a class, which is the comfort of your own home. You are expected to participate. You're expected to do the homework, and you're expected to be on camera with everybody else and with the teacher that's taking you through the program. Just to give you a bit of an understanding of what companies Experis Academy works with and places students and their students here in Israel. All these companies have offices here in Israel, mainly R&D, and all of them have students that are alumni of various programs of Experis Academy. Previous full stack developer students are also dispersed among these different companies, and the program that we currently are coming to an end with, we will also get placements within companies such as these or others. For those of you who are a bit worried about the whole finding a position process, let's talk about that. About 85% of the cohort's students will probably find or will be sought after by business owners, by employers during the program. Probably by the end of the program, anywhere between 2 and 3 of the students will have yet found a job. But here, Experis Academy Brightcode is committed to help you in finding that position and also train you further in order to be able to find that position. And this has to do with rewriting your CV, going through HR sessions, going through professional sessions, all in order to prepare you better for your next interview. You will also be assisted with how to present your skills, how to present your abilities, how to present your new skills that you're gaining within the program in order to present those to your future employers. We're talking about helping signing the contract. We're talking about going through interviews and prep interviews in order to make sure that you find that job. So this is something that's very important to put out there. At the end of the day, at the end of the program, we are committed, the program is committed to make sure that you get the job under the auspices of Brightcode and Experis Academy. So that's something that's very important to put out there. Getting your work permit. Working in Israel and working in the high-tech industry, for anyone who's who's not Israeli, is a challenge, and in order to overcome that challenge, we're looking to have you get a work permit / an Aliyah visa. Okay, the reason for that, it's the easiest way of getting a work permit to work here in Israel and allow you to work safely and soundly within the company that you're in. So with our experiences that we've also had with our previous students, you will have to, those of you who, of course, go through the entire journey and end up going from applicant to Brightcode student, you will be expected to also contact your local Jewish agency representative, or if you are in a North American country, Nefesh B'Nefesh as well. I'll correct myself. If you're in an English-speaking country, Nefesh B'Nefesh. You will have to give proof of you being Jewish, you wanting to come to Israel, looking for a work permit. It is a process. So if this is something that you are taking into consideration, if this program is something that you are seeking to undertake, you want to take part of this, and you're serious about this, let go of where you are currently in the process. I do recommend for you to start the process of obtaining that work permit and that visa sometime in the next month and a half, because it is a long process. It does take time. You have to go through paperwork. You have to communicate with your representatives in your respective countries, and it is something that's time consuming. Okay. Of course, if you have any issues, representative of Experienced Academy will gladly assist you and guide you and advise you. But the work of getting everything done is on your shoulders. The work of getting the paperwork done, of getting your meeting set, of getting your appointments with the Israeli consulate, wherever that might be, based on where you live, that is on you. You are responsible to make sure that you get that visa and that work permit in order to be able to come to Israel to work. Obviously, you're able to come into Israel on a tourist visa. That's one thing, but you're not able to work on a tourist visa. Okay. Share. All right. We put a lot of information in a very, very short period of time, and I see we have some questions coming up. I will try to answer some questions. Let me just see if I see. Irina, are you here? Irit? No. All right.
Daniel, if you need help, because I've answered some of the questions that people asked on the chat.
Okay.
So two people asked about what are the times of the course. If you want to give an answer so everyone hears.
So currently, the cohort that we have running right now, we have people from Argentina, the United States and Canada, both coasts, France and Russia, and some here in Israel. So the idea of the timing is a complicated and tricky issue, and with the cohort that's currently in session, we had that answer about a week before the cohort began. Currently, with the cohort that we have in session, our lecture is situated in Boston. So the program runs from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and for our student out in Yekaterinburg, the program goes into 1 o'clock in the morning. The students out in Los Angeles have it a bit easier. But to get a final answer, we will have to see what the program is comprised of. What are the questions that you see?
Andre was asking if he's 35 years old, if he can still apply, although it mentions on some of our publications that it's for up to 32, so there is no age limit. We focusing on people that we believe are more relevant for this, but if you are above 32 and this is relevant for you and you're willing to take this step of the commitment for the 5 months course plus moving to Israel and living for 2 years, you're definitely, all those who are above 32 and would like to apply, we encourage you to apply. We'd love for you to apply.
It is important to understand what it means, relevance in terms of age. The program caters to the students alone. So if students have significant others that they want them to come with them to Israel, or if they have children, once you're living in Israel for those 24 months, so you're basing your home income on that salary. For that month of the onward program that you have housing and everything covered, it's only covered for your benefit, not for potential children or spouses or significant others that you may have. So that's very important to put that out there. Okay. What other questions did you see?
I see a question in regards to the salary. So the $4,000 US dollars is the base, is what we commit to, not we specifically, but the companies that will hire you will commit to give you. If they decide that you deserve a raise in your salary, you definitely are eligible to potentially get more than the salary that we promise. But so it's not the ceiling, but it's the base where you start. There's a question about people with different Jewish backgrounds. Daniel, if you can tell a little bit extra about who's eligible.
So basically anybody who's Jewish based on, let's say, birthright rules, the mother or father, or you've converted, those are, it applies to you as well. Okay, so take that in mind, keep that in mind, that applies to you as well, any type of form. There is a question here also about the cost of Onward. Onward as a program will not cost you. Flights will be covered up to a certain extent. The sum of dollars right now is unknown, but we will cover, will cover a certain extent of the flight over. And if you happen to exceed that sum of money, you will be forced to pay out of pocket for the rest. But living here in Israel during the program, housing is covered. A little stipend is given. Public transportation, you'll be getting what we call a Rav-Kav in Hebrew, which is basically a ticket to use the public transportation. Any other expenses that you might want to have, if it's laundry, if it's cooking, if it's buying your own food, if it's any recreational activity of your own, they'll be on you.
Another question, Alexander is asking about working remotely. Brightcode commits to 2 years of working in Israel, meaning if you've graduated from the bootcamp, you're obliged to work in Israel, physically live in Israel and work in Israel for 2 years. So it's not possible to work remotely.
I'll say it again. We're talking about a one product program which includes 3 segments. A study segment, which you do from home online, an Israel segment where you do for a month through Onward Israel, and the 24 months of work while living in Israel. If you happen to go away for a weekend, or if you happen to take a Passover vacation or the high holidays, of course, with coordination with your respective employers, that's fine. But you are committed to come to Israel and live here. So this program is not relevant for people who are currently students studying in a semester, unless they're willing to take off the next 2.5 years to come to Israel. But so please keep that in mind. Okay.
Another question, a few people were asking about when will they get the test. So once you've applied, we said 7 to 10 days. Because of the high holidays, there was a bit of delay, but everyone who have applied will receive an email from us, which is the email that we sent, brightcode@taglit-birthright.com, with the aptitude test. Each email has a unique, you have a unique number that you have to enter on the actual test to start the test. If you've passed this test, experts will be in touch with you and will send you again via email the professional test and the following steps to follow. So just expect, if you have applied in the last couple of days, you will be getting the email hopefully before the end of the week. And if you've applied 2 or 3 weeks ago, you should have gotten the aptitude test last week. Make sure you check your inbox and your spam folder, because sometimes our mails are directed to your spam folders.
Yes, the spam folder is highly important because many of our emails get there. That's true.
Daniel, can you tell a little bit more about the commitment. They're signing a contract with Experis. What if they decide that this is not for them? What's the kind of grace time that they're able to maybe cancel their participation?
Okay.
Is there any cost?
So the program itself is free of charge. However, the actual cost, the actual value is about $15,000 in cost of the program. This is a very highly regarded program, very highly regarded position that you are going to be trained for. So that's the value of the program. Once you make the commitment and once you begin the studies, you have up to 4 weeks, 1 month to pull out if you find this to be something that's not suitable for you. I repeat, 4 weeks, 1 month from the moment we begin the course that you could pull out without any penalties or any issues. Of course, if you have issues which are family-oriented, a tragedy, or it's something that really has taken a toll on your ability to participate in the program, it will be understood, and we'll address it on a personal manner throughout the program. But if you just decide in the middle of the program that this is not for you, you're picking up and leaving, so you will be penalized with the cost of the relative cost of the program. And this also regards your time of work here in Israel, meaning if you decide after 3 months of working in Israel that you don't want to do this, you will be penalized as well. So this is something you do have to take into consideration. And as hard as it is to say, this is we're putting this in the forefront because we do want the most serious people on this Zoom session with us in the program. So please keep that in mind. I will say another thing about the commitment, which is on the program's end. The program evaluates you as you go along. You're going to be tested on a daily and weekly basis, either by reviewing your participation rate in the program, tests and quizzes that you'll be taking throughout the program, and the project that you'll be taking, that you'll have to do towards the end of the program. If you don't abide by the rules, if you don't get the scores needed in order to continue the program, you'll be asked to be removed from the program, simply because if you can't do the studies, you won't be able to do the work later on that you will be expecting of yourselves and your employers will be expecting of you. So this is something important to keep in mind.
Just a few more quick questions. So in regards to how many people on each cohort, around 25 people. It's not first come, first serve. However, we do encourage and recommend that if you've received the test, you take the test and you start the process. The quicker we'll be able to finalize the cohort, the quicker we'll be closing registration. So that's something that you have to keep in mind. And the course does include homework. So it's not just the 8 hours where you'll be sitting in front of the computer and studying with 20 or 24 other people from Birthright alumni from all over the world. There are some homeworks and tasks that we'll be taking after each day.
I will just add, in terms of questions that I see here, materials for your coding tests, which will be the professional test, will be given to you once you pass the aptitude test. There's no preparation for the aptitude test. This is a mere personality logic test that is very common here in Israel and also around the world. So this is when you apply for different programs and you apply for different positions. So this is not something to be worried about. It is something that you have to spare time for, about an hour and a half for, not an hour and a half for, in order to be able to do it. I remind you, once you begin a segment within that test, you cannot stop. The time will be ticking and running, but you can take a short break between segments on that aptitude test. And for the interviews that you'll be conducting, provided, of course, you pass the aptitude test and you pass the professional test. So with a professional interview, it's basically defending the work that you did on your test. The HR interview is not also something that you could really prepare for, other than any other standard preparation for an HR interview.
This isn't an HR test, right? Because
Sorry,
I'm on the way to a Halloween party. This isn't the HR test, right? Because I'm on the way to a Halloween party.
No, this is not the HR test. No.
Wait. Thank you.
Currently, this is an informational session for you to get some more information and questions. Thank you, Kelsey, for asking that. From the screens that I see Mano Melman raising his thumb. Do you have a question? No. All right. Any other questions that we should address right now?
I see Miranda has raised her hand.
Yes.
Yeah, is it possible to get disability accommodations to get extra time on the aptitude test?
We will have to look into that. I currently, we never.
I think, Daniel, I think Irit is here. I don't know if she can take the answer, but
Irit has a problem with her internet. She's not currently here.
She's not
Miranda,
able to.
I will make sure.
What?
Miranda,
Can you not hear me?
We hear you,
Can you
Miranda.
not- Yeah. Are you saying I'm not here?
No, we hear you.
Yeah.
Right here.
I'm saying I'll get
Can
back
you
to you
leave
with
me
an
on
answer about
screen?
that.
I'm just wondering, is
You are
it possible?
here.
Is it possible to get extra time on the aptitude test for disability accommodation?
I will have
For
to get back to
autism?
you and somebody responding.
Oh, I was asking
No.
for autism specifically, or for like
For,
time disorders.
For nonverbal learning disorder.
From what I see right now, this is a set test.
Yeah.
There's there's no extra time given.
You will be fine. Take the test.
But I already took it and I didn't, and I
Just
failed
take it.
because I didn't have
Miranda,
enough
I
time.
think, sorry,
Guys-
guys and girls, if we can, if there is a specific individual questions in regard to specific issues, that personal issues that one or some of you are faced, please email us. It would, be a better use for everyone's time. So Miranda, I've posted the email address on the chat. I will do it again. Feel free to email us and we'll take each and every question individually.
Okay.
Any general
you.
questions? Levi?
Hi, yeah, so this is just, it might be like a very specific question. It's okay if there's not like an answer right away, but like, let's say that we get placed in, let's say Tel Aviv. That sounds fantastic, love it. Is there a requirement to stay in Tel Aviv municipality? Or can we be a little bit outside the city center and somewhere cheaper?
You
Like,
can choose
for
to
me-
live wherever you wish.
Perfect. So even if let's say that we're placed in like Beersheba, I mean, Beersheba is cheap anyways, but like I could stay theoretically in like Arad or something, or like if I'm in Tel Aviv, I could stay in Beersheba or something like that.
Yeah.
As long as you get to work on time, you're good.
As long as I get to work on time. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
All right. All right. Any other questions that you might have? Or we're going to simply go through the written questions and we're going to email you all back with answers. Walter Antonio.
Yes, hello. Sorry, I have a question. It's very nice to hear that we can become full stack developers after 4 months.
5 months.
And 5 months exactly. But sometimes, well, if you study programming, it takes like 5 years. So I was wondering what's
Experience Academy is a very well-known company that has been doing this for years in Israel and around the world. And when I mean this, I'm talking about boot camps. The idea of sitting down for 5 days a week, 8 hours a day to study. To top that off, you have your homework. This has been proven to produce full stack developers and other positions or skills that were needed and were found with Experis Academy. So we trust fully that this program will allow you to become that full stack developer that you want to be.
Okay, and when you start working, then you continue developing these skills, right? I guess you.
Yes,
Or
like, you know, like with everything that you study to jumpstart something, and then once you get a placement, it's you know, working, especially in coding, it's an online, ongoing learning experience. So don't expect to be, you know, top-notch coder once you've graduated from this program, but it gives you the ability to apply to jobs and to start jobs in a, like Daniel said, a very, very requested and sought after position, not just in Israel, but worldwide.
excellent. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, Daniel.
Yeah. Do you have some examples of some work that people have gotten after this program?
So the company that I showed you before in the presentation are companies that alumni of Experis Academy's different programs, including full stack development, have found positions in. The cohort that currently is in session is still in the study mode. Once we get that done, we're going to be happy to share that with all of you at a later time. By the way, some of our students are happy to talk to a few candidates who are interested to get some information from them as well. All right. All right. That was a very, Kelsey, do you have another question?
Yes. Last question. Can we start the process of Aliyah and still be qualified to do the program?
Say that again?
Can we start the process, the Aliyah process, and still be qualified for the program, or will that disqualify us if we
If you start the process? No, it's not going to.
If we start the process of making Aliyah
No,
before we do the program.
It's not going to disqualify you. I will say this: we're not catering this cohort to people currently living in Israel who are relatively new olim here in Israel. We are talking.
Is it like Taglit, y'all related to Taglit? I went Birthright March. Is it like that? The group that will do in the live questions for the weeks while we stay wherever we are, is the same group that we'll be sitting with when we actually get to Tel Aviv. Kind of like Birthright group,
well, the cohort that you'll
we
be
had a group chat.
Right. So you had a group well, you had it in Taglit, but you had in Birthright. That's one group. The group that we're forming here is an international group, as I said before. The cohort that's currently in session.
That wasn't the question. The question was will the same this group I was just recalling to compare it to the Birthright trip. But the group that will if everybody or whoever passes and makes this cohort, they be together and when we get to Israel.
They'll be together on during the month of studies in Israel, the Onward program. But after that, wherever they work, that's where.
No, that was you answered it. Thank you.
Wonderful. All right. That was a very impactful half an hour, I think. And we have a lot of questions to go through and respond to you. So unless there is something urgent, we're going to say thank you for your time. We don't want to take too much of your time. I'm sure it's late somewhere here on the Zoom and a bit too early somewhere else on the Zoom. So we're going to say thanks, and we will be sure to send you also the recording of this video and to send out responses to most, if not all, of these questions.
Sorry, Daniel, I just want to emphasize one more thing because people keep asking. If you have applied before October 18th, you should have received the aptitude test last week. If you've applied between October 18th to today, you'll be getting it hopefully before the end of the week. If you have not received the aptitude test. The subject line is welcome to Brightcode. Search in your inbox, welcome to Brightcode, and search under the promotion tab and the any other tab or folder, especially the spam folder. Given that you've passed this test, Experis will be in touch with you and will send you the following stage, which is the professional test. Sometimes it will be a matter of a day or a couple of days, and sometimes it takes a bit longer. We are screening hundreds of people at the moment. So we encourage you to, once you get the test, take the time. I think it's about 2 hours to complete the test, and make sure you submit it as soon as possible so you can move on with the screening process.
I will say one more thing. If you did apply before October 18th, as Shai said, and you think you haven't received the email yet, first of all, check your spam folder. Second of all, write an email to Brightcode at Taglit-Birthright.com, and we will review it. Those of you who are not native to English, I would appreciate you writing your letters, your emails in English. Otherwise, the Google Translate and I are very, very close. But it will be very, very helpful English emails in the future. This is also to show you that the entire program is in English, and the entire work environment that you'll be here in Israel will be English and Hebrew. So the basic requirement on your end is to know English and have a working and study professional level of English. Thank you very much. Rinat, Shai.
Yeah, Walter, I see that you've raised your hand. If you can email us, it will be great. I'll send the email again on the chat. So if anyone missed it, now is the time to look onto the chat and make sure you write it down. And I'll repeat it again. It's Brightcode, in one word, Brightcode at Taglit-Birthright.com. And we're looking forward to seeing you hopefully completing all the stages, and hopefully we'll see you in a few months here in Israel. Before that on Zoom, and then in Israel.
Yep, absolutely. Good luck to everyone.
Have a good day, evening to all. Shai, Irit, Rinat, ciao.
Bye, thank you.
Bye-bye.